Once nestled deep within the forested embrace of towering pines, there lay a village veiled in whispers and shadows. Its name was whispered with trepidation: Eldoria. Tales of its haunted history echoed through the neighboring towns, passed down from generation to generation like a grim heirloom. Legend spoke of a curse that had befallen Eldoria centuries ago. When the moon hung low and the stars seemed to weep, it was said that a coven of witches, scorned by the townsfolk for their unconventional ways, had cast a spell upon the village in their final act of vengeance. From that day forth, Eldoria became a place shrouded in darkness, where the veil between the living and the dead was thin, and spirits roamed freely. As the years passed, Eldoria became a place frozen in time, its buildings crumbling and ivy-coated, its streets empty save for the whispered sighs of ghosts. Few dared to venture near, for fear of awakening the wrath of the spirits that dwelled within. Among those who dared to brave the haunted village was a young woman named Isabel. Driven by a thirst for adventure and a heart untouched by fear, she set out to unravel the mysteries of Eldoria. With her camera slung over her shoulder and a map in hand, she ventured into the heart of the village. Undeterred by the warnings of those who knew better, the air grew heavy as Isabel stepped over the threshold of Eldoria. As though the very atmosphere itself held its breath, shadows danced upon the cobblestone streets, and the distant wail of a ghostly lament echoed through the night. Yet Isabel pressed on, her footsteps echoing against the silent buildings like a heartbeat in the darkness. As she explored the abandoned homes and forgotten alleyways, Isabel felt the weight of the village's history pressing down upon her. She could almost see the faces of those who had once called Eldoria home, their spirits lingering in the shadows like specters of the past. But it was not until Isabel stumbled upon the old church that she felt the true presence of the supernatural. The church stood tall and imposing, its stained glass windows cracked and faded with age. As Isabel stepped inside, she was greeted by a chill that seemed to seep into her bones, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. In the dim light of the church, Isabel discovered an ancient book bound in leather and dust. Its pages were yellowed with age, and its words were written in a language long forgotten by the world above. With trembling hands, Isabel began to translate the text, unraveling the secrets of Eldoria's curse. With each turn of the page, she learned of the witches who had once called Eldoria home, and of the spell they had cast in their final moments of defiance. She learned of the darkness that had consumed the village, and of the souls trapped within its grasp. And she learned of the only way to break the curse and free Eldoria from its haunted prison. With newfound determination, Isabel set out to undo the work of centuries past. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from the ancient book, she journeyed deep into the heart of the forest, where the spirits of the witches still lingered in the shadows. There, beneath the light of the full moon, Isabel began to weave her own magic. With words whispered upon the wind and a heart full of hope, she called upon the spirits of Eldoria to rise once more and reclaim their freedom. For hours she chanted, her voice blending with the haunting melody of the forest until, at last, a soft glow began to emanate from the darkness. Spirits emerged from the shadows, their ethereal forms dancing in the moonlight as they reached out to Isabel with gratitude in their eyes. With one final incantation, Isabel shattered the curse that had held Eldoria in its thrall for so long. As the last echoes of her magic faded into the night, the village was bathed in a warm light, and the spirits of Eldoria rose up into the sky like stars set free from their earthly bonds.